Flipping homes in the Midwest isn't for the faint of heart. My name is Greg.
And my name is Brett. And we flip some of the worst.
Oh man, this is gross.
Yeah.
Ugliest.
Whoa! Getting this house just really reeks. It's a sour bite.
And downright nastiest houses we can find.
How's the toilet look? Can we salvage it?
No. This window is cracked in here and I feel inclined to leave it that way.
And transform them into beautiful heartland homes that every buyer dreams of.
Oh my gosh, this house is beautiful.
As a one-stop shop, we find...
Hey, what do you know about Valley?
My brother's selling that house.
Purchase.
I feel like I definitely want to put a bid on it.
Renovate.
Open this wall up so that now you've got a more open floor plan.
And sell these homes all by ourselves.
And most of the time we buy them sight unseen. They're glue in the locks. They're literally making sure that nobody can get in.
Glue the door shut.
And we never know what we've got until we walk through that door for the very first time.
I think they just cleaned.
Looks like we've got some squatters down here. But the bigger the catastrophe, okay.
The more extreme the makeover.
And to make things more interesting, we're in direct competition with two of my very own brothers who own an extremely successful flipping business right here in town.
Lucky for us, we live right here in the heartland of America, where we have a community of family and friends willing to help us out at every turn.
And boy do we need it. This is
Flipping the Midwest.
I'm Greg,
And I'm Brett.
and we flip homes in the Midwest. Brett and I have known each other since we were 16 years old. We met in high school, and crazy thing is we share the same birthday. So we probably met in the nursery 34 years ago.
Yeah.
But I can't prove that.
I think a show should be done in Omaha because the weather's so terrible here. Sometimes, like in the summer, it's too hot and humid, and in the winter, it's too cold. And it'd just be an interesting show about why do people stay here through the cold weather. So I think that would be an interesting kind of thing to show.
I think people should see a show on flipping in the Midwest because it's great people. It's the normal of the country. Like, I'm sorry, when I watch TV, I'm watching, I feel like the extremes. I'm watching beach houses in Florida. I'm watching houses in Orange County. That isn't what me and 95% of the country live in. They can't even connect with those shows. It's all just, oh my gosh, it's so expensive and that person's a butterfly catcher and they can afford an $800,000 house. I literally don't know how that math makes sense. And I think what we do is the average person's home.
But to be clear, we still love you. Those of you who are on the East Coast and the West Coast.
My full name is Clint Bartlett. I'm from Omaha, Nebraska, right here in the center of the country. And I am a full-time flipper. Brett has a little bit more of a construction background. That's not really my interest. I'm more about the art of the deal, making a profit on it and moving on to the next one. So after we actually buy the house and start renovations, I hand it over to my oldest brother, Tyson, to kind of manage the subcontractors and get the house ready for flipping it. Brett and I are extremely competitive. We ride dirt bikes together, motorcycles with a couple of our other brothers. And even in some of the real estate stuff, I'll give him a hard time. If he's only bought one property last month and I bought 10, I'll just be like, oh, good job. Congratulations, buddy. So definitely some good, healthy competition between the group of us. Yeah.
It's super important to work with people that you know and that you trust. We do use contractors that my dad used when he was in construction before I was born. There's this trust, factor there that you can just send somebody that a lot of time they don't have to give you a price. And I think Greg kind of watched that unravel like a couple times recently that, the person that I know and trust, like though they might not be the most put together person, they're still a good go-to and it's their, price-wise.
This is how our relationship works. Yeah. So-and-so is gonna do the drywall. How much is that gonna cost? I don't know. I just gave him the job. When's he gonna be done? Not quite sure. Like, my blood pressure starts boiling. He's like, he's got it. I don't know if you could find that anywhere else. Just watching a lot of other flipping type things all over the country, whether it's online or TV, I don't feel like they have the same relationships that we have here. I think we have something that's very special, and you get your tight-knit group of people, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't go try to do it somewhere else. only challenge I could think of that would be specific to the part of the Midwest that we work in is that it's not huge. It's not like there's deals just falling out of our ears. I mean, we go look at every single house that's gonna come up for foreclosure auction. Every single one. And we get stood up at the auctions that get canceled the last minute. We were at the courthouse last week, twiddling our thumbs until it was a quarter past, and then we left because apparently it got canceled. So like we're at every single opportunity that we can, and we have to be because there aren't 40 houses a week that are in distress. There's 3 or 4, and if we're trying to get a couple 3 deals a month total overall, like then we need to be on top of all of them. And it's competitive. The same people show up at all the auctions. We have our growing nemesis, and I think we stand out in that group like a sore thumb. Like we look like we're the ones who bathe the most frequently, and other people like crawled there out of a bottle or something, and they're competing with us on houses. Who sets up all the subs?
Me.
Who chooses the paint colors?
Me.
Who chooses what color the faucet's gonna be?
That's me. Who finds all of our houses?
I typically do.
And who pays for those houses?
I do.
And who sells them for us?
I do.
There we go. So it does work out really well to have so many of those things in-house. Just makes it flow so much better.
He does not get as stressed as easy as I do. Nothing's too big of a challenge. I see a disaster sometimes when he sees a beautiful end project. He can already see the end and I can't see it at all. So having someone who's not afraid to roll up their sleeves and knock down a wall and turn it into a vision is just really cool to watch. And it's the yin to my yang, because that is not me. I look at numbers all day. I like doing the contracts. I like doing the negotiations. I like telling him, like, you do have to do that or you don't have to do that for us to get the house sold, where he's in the weeds of the actual project, and I kind of like to float above it.
Greg and I were just talking about this the other day, how often he's perceived as maybe like
A little too straightforward.
pretty straightforward, maybe a difficult or mean person. To some people would consider him like a high maintenance mean person. But to those who are closest to him, like Greg's extremely loyal, and people might not know that, meeting him out in the world, but he's nicest and saves his best self and nicest self and most loyal self for his friends and family. He was fun in high school and he's fun now, and we get to enjoy each other. So I have 3 children. Our twin girls, Emma and Olivia, are 3, and we have our youngest, Maddie, who's about to turn 1. It affects everything I do. It's what launched me into flipping, is that I knew that I could kind of create my own schedule and I could be my own man doing it.
Oh yeah, what's that color? Green.
My wife is due with our first child in like 3 weeks. I'm terrified and excited. I think it'll be awesome, but I chose to do this for a living with Brett because I saw what it allowed him to do with his family, and that's how I envisioned my family. And I haven't regretted it literally for a minute since I did it. As we come up on it now, great little small town street. I think that's it right there.
Yep.
What do you think at first?
I mean, I think it could have some good curb appeal with just a little bit of work. It doesn't need a ton.
Yeah, I have a feeling like a lot of the people that live here have been in the town their whole lives, so fix up a house that they've walked by a million times and maybe keep them into town. Man, I really like it.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with this red spray paint though.
Maybe something to do with the flooding. Could be.
It probably is from the flooding. I didn't even think of that. Oh man, this is gross.
Yeah. You can see that there's some water in here for sure.
Well, I tell you what, if it did flood in here, it looks like where it's all torn up the walls, like till here, it's all of a sudden it's good. I think you had water all the way around.
Yeah, look at this. There's like a perfect line where the water stopped on the water heater.
It's so gross. It's crazy to think that there was water up to here and there. But I think that's why you got new HVAC, because it was completely buried at one point.
That's good. And honestly, like the fact that there's 5 feet of water in here and the walls aren't caving could be a good sign. Like water can come in and out at the right speed and potentially not.
I feel like
hurt it
all
that
this
much.
has to go, man. The bench has to go. These cabinets have to go. Everything's moldy and disgusting.
What's in
I don't
there?
even know what this room is.
Oh, this is just like completely unfinished space.
I don't know what that is. That's a porthole or a wagon wheel. You can keep it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So where are we at?
This is a little kitchen. It's gonna need some work.
Wow, do I want to blow that wall out like
Yeah.
immediately
It's
and make
calling
this
for
kitchen
it.
bigger. All right, I think you do your classic like farmhouse sink thing that you kind of do in a lot of your places.
Yeah.
We blow that out that way.
Yeah.
I can already see we got some really cool floors to lead into in there.
Yeah. And this wall is just begging to be gone. Like feels like it should have never been there in the
What
first
are those
place.
cabinets made of?
They're metal.
Like a filing cabinet?
They're like they used to do those like in the 50s.
Great. So it's actually
Yeah.
been updated.
Yeah. Just not
All
very
right.
recently.
I want to see these floors. I think that could be a saving grace. Oh, these are cool.
Dude, these are my favorite.
Whoa! All right. You've
Yep.
got a problem at some point.
Yeah.
Man, I know that this stuff doesn't bother you, but it totally freaks me out.
Yeah. Woohoo!
You're like a child. Okay.
Well, I'm thinking this is the master.
All
It's
right.
just as gross as everything
I like the
else.
archwork. I don't even want to go in that bathroom.
It's pretty small.
It's as gross as it looks from here.
This window is cracked in here, and I feel inclined to leave it that way so that the smell isn't so bad. Well,
How's the toilet look? Can we salvage it?
no.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah,
All right.
I'm sure.
Oh man, check out this stair post. This is too cool.
That's awesome.
All that hand done engraving.
That looks awesome.
Just to think that somebody did that like 1910.
It's
got that
actually
installed?
in super good shape.
You have to save it.
Yeah.
That'll be like a focal point of the
And
house.
that's one of those things like when the wife walks in, she'll see that and want the house
Yeah.
because of one thing she's looking at. So
I'm actually more excited that if she has a similar painting this size and shape, you won't even have to
it's
paint.
gonna fit right in.
It's a nice mustard yellow. Nicotine, mustard, it's all the same to me. All right. About like downstairs, it's got that great trim though.
Yeah.
You have hardwood floors in there. The ceilings look good. That always worries me. This bathroom
drywall
is
work.
disgusting, but it's actually not as bad as the last one. You get a little vanity spot. Ow! And some mouse poop. Ugh.
I actually think it'd look better to move the plumbing to where that vanity is.
And have a way bigger vanity.
Yeah, because this seems
Yep.
kind of obnoxious.
It is obnoxious. You
Plus,
might hit your knee on it.
We don't want people bumping their knees on that.
Just a piece of shit vanity. Let's just check out this last bedroom. Man, I love all this old trim though.
Yeah, that's sweet.
You've got this tall trim, like the master had in it. That's really cool. And then you've got the wider. Is this the pine?
This is pine floors.
Okay, so this is what the living room would look like a little bit closer to what the
both
finished
hopefully
product.
look better than that eventually.
Okay. I don't know if we ever found out where the water was coming in through the dining room.
Well, that
There's
looks
something
kind of
going on
suspect.
here.
I mean, obviously the roof needs to be replaced, but
But it's coming down on us,
Yeah.
but a new roof will fix that.
that's gonna need there's gonna be a lot of drywall work in here just because this is all the old plaster and it's gonna need a lot of fixing underneath of all this wallpaper.
It's got a lot going for it.
Well, I'm not really loving the small gated area that's blocking off the rest of the yard here.
Yeah, it seems kind of a good way to break up a really big yard.
Is that
Small
weird?
fence.
Is it weird that I would want to tear out all of this fence? I mean, it feels strange to pull a fence out, but I don't like that it's blocking the rest of the yard.
I mean, people with dogs are going to want one,
Yeah,
but they can always put it up. But I
Yeah.
get it. It makes it really small. That's so great that the school's right there.
yeah, that is awesome.
I agree. What's in here? Just a shed that's falling down.
Oh, that'll get torn down for sure.
So would you hook your truck to here to rip it down? Or would you
Right?
hook your
Which
truck to
spot
here
do
to
you
rip it
hook
down?
up to pull it down?
It's not budging at 95. They're not going to get close to that.
No, I mean, we'll offer them less. Like I can see them taking 80 and we would have to put about 50 in this.
So you want to start in the 70s?
Sure.
See if they end up taking 80, if you need the numbers to work.
Let's do it.
Hopefully they'll just take a verbal so I don't have to write it up. I'm freezing.
Yeah, this
All
fire
right, cool.
hydrant's cold.
My ears hurt. Let's go.